was virtually Clark Gaines from beginning, well, through the third quarter anyway. So you can't accuse the Jets of not having an offense, just not an offense that takes advantage of the situation and makes the big plays. Here's what Shea looks like right now. Full house was on hand. It was a sellout, and the NFC game was the visiting team. So that's why, if you follow all that, the game was on CBS today and not NBC, as most Jets games are. Crowd disappointed leaving. A lot of them left in the third quarter and missed 2 Jets touchdowns in the fourth. They started booing early and booed most of the way. It was a bad first half for the Jets, as you saw here on Channel 2. We picked a play of the game, not necessarily a touchdown play, but a play to us that was indicative of what the 49ers did today. Look at this dipsy-do. It went to Berg, to Hofer, to Solomon. He flipped it back to the Berg. The Berg then found Hofer, who touched the ball for a second time. This was not a touchdown, but it set up a field goal for the 49ers today. And as we said, it was indicative of how the 49ers just ran around with their offense in the first half. The Jets could not get anything going, had to rely on short passes, and as you saw with a play like that, the 49ers did virtually what they wanted.
Pulls his way to a first down. So Red Miller reaches into the bag of tricks, but it took Jensen's hard running to make the first down. Is this Seattle or is this Denver? Right there, the quick snap to the up-back. Jensen behind him. The punter had jumped into the air to try and distract the lineman, and Jensen quickly into the line. They're going to measure it, but I believe he's got it. That's an amazing play. And it appeared San Diego was ready for it, actually had a chance to stop him short, but Jensen's hard second effort may have gotten him the first down. It is a first down. So trailing 3-0, Denver maintains possession at the 40-yard line, and now in comes Rick Upchurch for the first time as Don Coryell, his usual almost menacing posture as he marches up and down the San Diego sidelines. Both wide receivers right, Moses in the slot. Robinson to throw. Odoms to the 27, first down. 13 yards for Riley Odoms. On the line of scrimmage, one of the reasons that pass is completed is because of the time that Robinson has to look around. And he gets part of that time by the fine offensive play right there. Number 71, Claudie Miner, working on Louis Kelcher. Pass, a quick one right into the hands of number 88, Riley Odoms. Odoms with the first down. And you heard this tremendous crowd just surge. This is a very closed and noisy stadium. That's part of the home field advantage for the Broncos here. San Diego knows it well. They've not won here since 1968. Jensen plowing for about 5 yards down to the 28-yard line. And again, a good offensive surge by Bryan, the center, and Glassick and Howard, the guards. Dick, 2 years ago, Jensen missed the whole season with a knee injury. But looking at him in the locker room, he is one of the most physical running backs I have ever seen. Huge legs, powerful shoulders, obviously a weightlifter who has developed a very strong body and uses it, knows how to use it on that kind of play. Minnesota beat Chicago 34-14. The Vikings bounced back from that tough defeat against the Eagles last Sunday. Robinson, wide open is Jensen. He's to the 5 to 6-yard line, but a flag is down. You'll see the enthusiasm of these fans. They will literally shake the stadium, and you'll see our cameras shiver as we try to follow the action. That's just the fan support, and that one will quiet them because they're going to call it back on a Denver penalty. Jensen looked like he was shaken up a bit on the last play, definitely shaken up on this one. They'll take him off the field. You get a feeling on that play for the kind of coolness that Matt Robinson showed last week, and he's showing here again. It's a shame that that play will be marched back because of a holding penalty, but he took his time, picked his receiver out, put it right on target, and under Rod Dalhauer, they're using more receivers, they're using more types of short passes than they ever had before here in Denver, and they're very pleased with the results.
Dowhauer, of course, Bill Walsh pupil, and much like the San Francisco 49er attack. Jensen jogging off under his own power. Quite a guy. He's an outstanding artist and one of the many players in the National Football League with extraordinary artistic talent. It's quite a counterpoint to the violent physical nature of this game, and then to see these big guys able to do such subtle things in their artwork. Second down, 15. From the 34. Moses in motion. Robinson complete to Preston, and he's wrapped up at the 27-yard line. That'll make it about 3rd and 10. Preston regarded as having the best hands of any of the Denver backs.
That's the kind of passing that Dowhauer has brought with him to this Bronco team. They use a large number of receivers, and they try and make you cover the entire field. Robinson doing a good job. One of the problems that San Diego's defense had last week, Dick, and they're having it early here, is not being able to get pressure on the quarterback. We may indeed see Fred Dean pretty soon.
And you saw Miami with a great comeback win at Atlanta. We'll have more on that in a moment. 3rd and 9. Robinson under pressure. Can't get rid of it. The first sack of the game at the 33-yard line. Good charge from DeJournay and Big Hands Johnson as they wrapped up Robinson. In that game in Atlanta, Miami was trailing 17-3 early in the 4th quarter and scored 17 points to win it 2017.
A little tackle stunt on the inside. Gary Johnson simply getting by his guard, Glassick, getting across to the other side, doing a good job of, actually that was the center that took him on that trade-off. Bill Bryant, Glassick traded him off, but Johnson getting in on the tackle.
51-yard attempt. It's good, and that would have been good from 71 yards. Oh, my. Did he hit that one? He set the Denver record last week, 55 yards. That was 51, and it went 15, 20 yards behind the post.
Yankee ingenuity is still alive and well. You'll see it October 2nd on K-Day when Chrysler's K-Cars show up to take on the imports. K-Cars are the only front-wheel drive cars with high mileage and room for 6 Americans. If everybody in the U.S. drove a K-Car, we wouldn't have to import a single drop of OPEC oil for gasoline. Chrysler's K-Cars are coming to challenge the imports. K-Cars, the American way to beat the pump.
This is my New York life agent. How did he get so big in my eyes? When I got married, he suggested a very affordable starter policy. He really grew in my eyes. Later, the same New York life agent gave me brilliant advice in business insurance, and he grew some more. Now it's a policy that guarantees retirement income. My New York life agent stands 10 feet high with me. Ask your New York life agent. He has the answers for you.
On the season premiere of Chips, Ponch and John hit the road with all new adventures. It's terror on the streets as they go after a pair of ruthless crooks and a reckless kid in a go-kart. Then Ponch gets in over his head to save a woman trapped in a watery grave.
A deep breath and hold it, and I'll do the rest.
Chips at a special time, Sunday.
As we told you, both Benerska and Steinfort set club records with field goals last week, and Steinfort has just hit a 51-yarder after Benerska had a 53-yard to set another new record. And now the Chargers will take the ball in their own end zone on the touchback. Hank Bauer with the honors. First down at the 20. Steinfort has kicked 5 times now this year for Denver and made all 5, and they have not been easy. The shortest is 43, 44, 46, 51 today, and 55 last week. Steinfort, a rather interesting story because he has bumped out of the league the top 2 scorers all time, Bland at Oakland, and then Jim Turner here in Denver. A 3-3 tie from the 20. Wide open is Winslow. That's a play that worked well against Oakland last week. Kellen Winslow, who had 9 receptions against the Raiders, has his first today. The second-year man from Missouri, hit by Thompson and Nairn.
Winslow, using his height and his great athletic ability, really came into his own last week. I think many people in San Diego were a little disappointed last year. Of course, he spent half the year on injured reserve with a leg injury, broken leg. He has sure come back firing this year.
Joyner right, Jefferson left, Winslow on the right side. Capoletti for a gain of about 5. But that was not the John Cappelletti that you knew as a teammate with the Rams. He just does not have that little extra quickness that he possessed early out of Penn State.
I think very often, as with any football player, accumulative injuries take their toll. They certainly have in the case of Cappelletti, playing with still a very painful torn muscle in his stomach as well as an ankle injury.
Winslow in motion, 2nd and 5. From the 35, Fouts to throw. Almost intercepted by Reuben Carter. A veteran nose guard from Miami of Florida had that pass thrown right to him. But you talk about the unexpected.
One of the things we're going to be keeping an eye on all day, pass pressure on these two quarterbacks. You saw San Diego's defense end the Denver drive, forced a field goal with good pressure on the quarterback. Bryson Manor, number 66, really doing a good job on number 66, Billy Shields. He was the man that forced the early throw, almost intercepted by Reuben Carter.
Buffalo going for 3-0, leading New Orleans by 2. Fouts down the middle, a great catch. Winslow all the way to the 25-yard line, and you saw Winslow at 6'5.5" and 252 running like a sprinter downfield. He was outrunning the defensive backs. 41 yards.
41-yarder, and just watch the classic throw by Fouts. Absolutely perfectly thrown to the fingertips, and again, the only place he could have thrown it. Tom Jackson right on top of Kellen Winslow, but Fouts so confident of his own arm and his receiver that he threw the ball anyway and threw it for a completion.
Fouts already with 90 yards in this first quarter, 4 of 6. First down at the 29. It's a 3-3 tie, 2:43 left in the first quarter. Cappelletti is able to stagger forward to the 23-yard line for a gain of 1.
Might be interesting to go back to last year's game here in Denver, though. Fouts threw well over 300 yards in that game, and yet the San Diego Chargers were shut out and lost the game 7-0.
That is really the jinx for the Chargers facing Red Miller's team.
Mark Baden, the special teams coach, on the sideline. Natalie Attire. Both these teams dressed all alike on the sidelines. That's a new thing in the NFL.
In motion, Joyner. 2nd and 9. Open, Joyner, intercepted. Bernard Jackson at the 10, 15, and down at the 16-yard line. On the deflection, Bernard Jackson, his first of the season.
Joyner very angry at himself. Watch him. He reaches back. He should have let that ball go. But instead, he tapped it, knocked it up in the air. Bernard Jackson, that's the tip drill. Defensive backs look for that one whenever they can.
So the interception stops Fouts in San Diego. It's still tied at 3.
We want to make you smile.
Mr. Simmons called and said, see you at 4:30 about the contract.
Good thing it's right across the street.
We're going to make you smile.
Holiday Inn hotels are near where you need to be.
Right on time.
And that can be important.
You got it.
Is my smile that big?
Come to Holiday Inn where your smile says, number one people pleasing.
If you haven't tuned up your engine lately, put in a fresh set of Champion spark plugs. Fresh Champions once a year can keep your starts on cue. You can't buy a better plug.
Wednesday, Ron Howard as you've never seen him before.
Still want me to do it?
No. No.
Some called it murder.
You killed your brother.
To him, it was an act of love.
In first, Bernard Jackson with that interception back in his collegiate days at Washington State. He led the Pacific 8 in rushing. That usually goes to a USC player. Number 2 that year was Bobby Moore, now Ahmad Rashad. In the Pac-8 rushing, he said, I caught the Trojan in between the great ones. Robinson from his own 16. Haven Moses to the 41. 25 yards. Make it 24-7. as they mark it at the 40-yard line. Haven Moses.
The Broncos had worked the short passing game for the first part of the ball game, and now drawing the linebackers up. Matt Robinson goes to the secondary zone, sends Haven Moses across, lofts the ball over the heads of the linebackers, right on target. Nice reception, good yardage.
Moses, who played for Don Coryell at San Diego State in his collegiate days. Jensen back in the lineup, breaking tackles, and he's all the way to midfield. Jim Jensen refusing to be stopped. Finally, Glenn Edwards got him.
The San Diego Chargers are a good defensive team. Two of them had a hold of Jensen, DeJournay and 51 Woody Lowe. He just ran right through their arms. I talked about his physical prowess. He's a stud.
6'3" and 230. In his fourth year, he was drafted by the Cowboys in the second round in '76. Didn't get much of a chance there, and Denver was able to woo him to this part of the country. He's been hurt a lot. Boy, he's playing like we've never seen him. 2nd and 1 at the 49. Robinson calls time. Didn't like his set based on the defense of the Chargers.
Robinson had Haven Moses an extra back. Obviously was going to send him in motion. Now either they were improperly set up or he didn't like what he saw on the defensive side. Either way, it's a timeout.
1 minute 6 seconds left in the first quarter.
Ram Tough Dodge pickup. New design for 1981. Built tougher than ever. With better mileage, new impact grille, square-shouldered brawny stands, more than twice as much galvanized steel in critical areas. More than Ford or Chevy. New EPA estimates. Best gasoline mileage with automatic transmission. More than Ford or Chevy. New Dodge pickups go beyond tough.
Dodge trucks are Ram Tough.
You know, I love the fresh, clean smell of barley because I can almost taste the Schlitz beer I'm going to make from it. I'm Frank Sellinger. Recently, I came to Schlitz as chief executive. Mostly, I check on the business end. But after 40 years as a master brewer, I check the barley, too, and the other fine grains to make a really smooth beer. Taste my Schlitz.
They're giving the final score, Cincinnati-Pittsburgh, here in the stadium, and you hear the roar. Fans cheering the Bengal upset. Buffalo now apparently going to make it 3-0 as they lead New Orleans 28-19 in the fourth quarter. It's a 3-3 tie here in Denver. The Broncos and Chargers, ball at midfield, 2nd and 1. Moses in motion. Robinson gives it to Jensen. And he has a first down at the 46-45 of San Diego. 5 more yards for Jensen. He's almost matched his total of the first 2 games in the first quarter today. Almost 10 yards on first down plays for the Broncos, and they have another first down. Reuben Carter saying, listen, if I'd have caught that pass, I'd still be running.
Oh, I tell you, those are the ones you wake up in the middle of the night and you dream about catching them, and then you get a chance and it goes to the ground. You stand there and smack your fist all afternoon, Dick.
I don't know, you came close to returning one, but just barely got caught on the sidelines. I think it was against the 49ers. Robinson, who's 4 for 4, scrambling. Ooh, ran right into Woody Lowe at the 44-yard line. Good thing he didn't throw the ball in past the line of scrimmage. Gain of 2.
That's the first time on a first down situation that the Broncos have not managed to get some pretty good yardage. They really have done a good job of setting themselves up on 1st and 10. And defensive players and coaches will tell you that that is the crucial down because you want to get into that mid-range, into that 2nd and 5 or 2nd and 4. You want to keep the options. At 2nd and 9, the defense has the advantage.
Upchurch right, Moses left. Otis Armstrong, 24, has joined Jensen in the backfield. And again, problems for Robinson. He spends his 2nd time out in this first quarter, trying to orient his offense to what he sees. Robinson to the sidelines to talk with Red Miller. A reminder, friends, Thursday nights here on NBC, 8 o'clock Eastern Time, games people play. And this week you'll see the New Orleans Tug of War. And the stunt of the week, the Omac Suicide Race. Gymnastics with Bart Connor. And an exciting segment on juggling, plus more. Thursday night here on NBC.
Dick, we've had an interesting assignment here in the early part of the season. We've watched 3 quarterbacks who've changed locations in their early adjustments to the new team. Stabler, who was switched from Oakland to Houston. Of course, Pastorini, who made the switch right back. We saw him last week. And now we're watching Matt Robinson. Really a year of a lot of changes for quarterbacks. And we've seen some of the same problems in all 3 of those games. Obviously, the 2 mix-ups here have not been serious in that they weren't a turnover. But I would think that they're upset on that Denver sideline because they've given up 2 of their timeouts. Now, at the end of this half, they might need those timeouts in a drive. They're obviously gone. That's one of the things that Matt Robinson will not be doing when he gets a little more experience with this Bronco team.
I know fans in New York watching Robinson. He had many folks who learned to love him for his fine play at Shea Stadium. The Jets got a #1 and #2 from Denver in this year's draft, plus quarterback Craig Penrose, and they used those 2 draft picks to get Lamb Jones and Ralph Clayton. Clayton on injured reserve. Draw play to Jensen inside the 40, but short of the first down. It'll be 3rd and 4 for the Denver Broncos. A quick rundown of all the scores. Cincinnati upset Pittsburgh 30-28. San Francisco still unbeaten 37-27 against the Jets as the first quarter comes to an end. Miami beat Atlanta 2017. Detroit over St. Louis 20-7. And we'll give you all the rest of the scores when we return. End of the first quarter, it's Denver 3, San Diego 3.
Copier companies have been introducing small copiers with a very interesting claim.
It's just as good as a Xerox.
It's just as good as a Xerox. Then one day...
this compact copier is very versatile. It even copies on your own letterhead. It's inexpensive, but best of all...
I know, it's just as good as a Xerox.
It is a Xerox.
The Xerox 2600, the compact copier that really is just as good as a Xerox.
This fall, the friendly skies will bring more people together than any other airline.
Hello, friend.
Hi, baby.
How you been?
What the grandma?
You're a welcome sight to see. Did you think the time could ever wear my memory?
Welcome home, son.
Tell me all about you, and then we'll go back to way back when. That's what friendly skies are all about.
United can save you up to 55% to someone you love.
No, there's nothing better. Seeing your face.
She sure got her grandmama's eyes.
Once again.
Are you ready for Ma's corn fritters?
Good old friend. That's what friendly skies are all about. Like the friendly skies.
Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen in Denver, Colorado. A beautiful day in the 80s here in the Mile High Country. A 3-3 tie. Fred Miller and Don Coryell. A lot of offense in that first quarter, but only 3 points aside. Denver has the ball as we open this second period. 3rd and 5 at the San Diego 40. Matt Robinson has Preston and Jensen behind him. Moses in motion. Whoops. Riley Odoms offside. The play goes on anyway, and Fred Dean in the game for the first time this year gets the loose ball for San Diego. How do you do? Dean, who did not report to the Chargers, his first workout was Wednesday. He was fined some $23,000 for his absence in training camp. Declined the penalty, San Diego. Fred Dean comes in. The first play gets a loose ball.
It looked like Matt Robinson thought the play would be stopped. The center snapped it. It just went right up over his head. Watch the ball here. Ball snapped late, up over the shoulder of Robertson. He never got a hold of it. Fred Dean, very alert, just picks it up on the go here. And had not Jim Jensen been right there, he might have gone all the way for a touchdown.
Sorry, Dan. All the way to the Denver 41, as Fred Dean says, you fellas been missing me. I got here just in time, and they have missed it.
Good lesson for defensive players all over the country. You've got to continue till that whistle blows.
There's no contact as Odoms went offside. No contact before the snap. Fouts swings it to Capoletti. And he's hammered down at the 35 of Denver after a gain of nearly 7. Rulon Jones top pick of the Broncos out of Utah State, made the tackle. Let's run down all the scores for you. I know you've been watching other games or have just joined us. Cincinnati, a big upset over Pittsburgh at home, 30-28. San Francisco 3-0 now after their win against the Jets, although Richard Todd threw for 447 yards today. In defeat, Miami rallied to beat Atlanta 2017. Second down, a long three. Cappelletti, no hole, but gets a couple anyway, down to about the 36. Rest of the scores. Detroit 3-0, and that was their home opener, and Billy Sims another touchdown as they took the Cardinals 20-7. Cleveland wins its first game. Kansas City remains winless, 2013 Browns. Minnesota bouncing back from that big loss at the hands of the Eagles last week takes Chicago at Soldier Field. Those are the finals. 21-9. Houston leads Baltimore. Buffalo ahead of New Orleans 28-19. New England an early lead at Seattle 3-0. Oakland leads early against the Redskins 3-0. Tampa Bay Dallas tied 7-7. The Rams lead Green Bay 7-0 in the first quarter. Just short of the first down of the Chargers with third down coming up.
In that Jets loss, Todd also rushed for over 100 yards. You can imagine the kind of yardage he racked up on the day, but I'll bet he would have traded it all for a few more points on the board.
That's hard to believe. He passed for 447 and he rushed for that many. Either there were a lot of long scrambles. Let's double check whether it was Todd that indeed ran for all that yardage. Hard to believe. Short yardage on third down. The flag is down. Fouts on the quarterback sneak got the necessary yardage for the first down, but was a charge premature. Motion against San Diego. Right guard. You heard in the background the right guard. Moving too soon, that would be 67, Ed White.
Big Ed White. Watch it yourself. He is beating that count just a little bit. And often offensive linemen will do that. They get that anticipation. They want to get that extra shot in there, especially on a play right up the middle over the top of them. Quarterback sneak, you can't get any quicker in there than that. But he beat the count a little bit too much on that one, Dick. They caught him.
Now Ed White puts his team back into a pass situation, 3rd and 5.
They never caught him when he was playing on me. He always did that.
Fouts to throw. Over the middle to Cappelletti. 30 to the 26 and a first down. And Cappelletti made a nice move on linebacker Tom Jackson. Finally, Foley hit him out of bounds. 10-yard play, first down for the Chargers.
One of the things that a good running back must have, especially in a multiple offense like this one, is the ability to catch the football. Little throw right over the center, little circle pattern. Watch Cappelletti pick the open territory. Breaks out of Tom Jackson's grasp there, gets the extra yardage on his own. And often, I think, Dick, the mark of a good back is the yardage he makes after the first hit.
Cappelletti getting the first down. Whistle. And maybe delay. You know, illegal procedure is the call against San Diego. They had 2 men in motion, perhaps. We have had a confirmation, Merlin, and if this has got to be a day that's going to go into the record book. Todd threw for 447 and ran for 160. That's over 600 yards.
Number 67. Ball start.
Ball start on White. For Richard Todd in defeat, however, what a day.
That means he threw 59 passes, 42 for 59. He carried the ball 17 times. I can't imagine who else got to handle the ball in that game besides Richard Todd and his receivers.
Sounds like the old single wing days. The tailbacks that ran it and threw it. He and the Jet Center, the only ones who handle the ball.
Joe Fields, I imagine that is.
1st and 15, open is Joyner, and he has it at the 11-yard line. Louis Wright made the tackle, and the Chargers have it first down deep in Denver territory. 19-yard play.
Fouts really does have a wonderful feel for his receivers, and he has some exceptional receivers to work with. Joyner up to get that ball, thrown behind him, didn't make a big deal out of it. A lot of receivers wouldn't have been able to get around to make that catch. Joyner up, just pulled it in and made a couple of yards to boot.
They spotted at the 12-yard line. Jefferson right, and Joyner left. Jefferson has not caught a pass yet. Clarence Williams his first carry inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. Randy Granishar, lateral movement to make the tackle, number 53.
But one of the reasons we probably haven't seen Jefferson catch a pass, I'm sure he's double covered. After his performance last week, these Denver Broncos are probably trying to take him away from Fouts. In the process, they've singled up Joyner, and Joyner is making him pay the price for that.
Interesting point. The defenses do want to take the top weapon away, and Jefferson has been all of that. But with Joyner and that man, number 80, Kellen Woodslow, Fouts still has two mighty fine targets, and he's looking in the end zone. Jefferson at the 1, no touchdown. So John Jefferson, when he's looking for 6, look for number 83.
And that's the matchup we talked about earlier. Jefferson on number 20, Louis Wright. Wright is getting help from the inside, but watch this. Louis is right there. Jefferson just jumps back into the field of play to catch that one. Watch the solo look here at John Jefferson. JJ goes down, drives Louis right off. Louis has good position and is coming back toward the ball, but you can't stop that kind of athletic reception when the ball is thrown perfectly.
First and goal at the 1-yard line. It's tied at 3. 11 minutes left in the first half. Whoop, Williams was moving prematurely. I don't see him. Now the flag goes down. Capoletti got the handoff.
It appeared that one of the defenders was also moving. We'll have to see who they're going to call it on.
They're going to call it on Denver. Oh, I thought there was early movement in the backfield for San Diego.
Let's take a look at it. You can watch for yourself. Watch the left side right there. It's number 75, Rulon Jones, appears moving ahead of the snap. He's the man that's ticketed. They give them the touchdown.
So the touchdown for Capoletti, and the Chargers move in front. Benerska to try the point after. With 11:15 remaining in the first half, the first touchdown goes to San Diego. It was a very impressive drive. And a flag down. A lot of stuttering on that Denver defense. We'll see whether or not an offensive lineman moves. Defense can move. Yes, it's against San Diego. That drive began after Fred Dean's fumble recovery on a penalty play. When Denver may have relaxed, Dean didn't. Came up with a, as Rick Upchurch calls it, came up with a rock. And
knew what to do with it. Knew what to do with it. Scooped it up and headed downfield. Those are the kind of things, again, we talked about Reuben Carter, the ball thrown to him. Let's go back and look at that TD play. Again, the defense offside, but of course, that decline as they get the jump over the top. Randy Granishar up there just barely missed the back, who was tunneling to get that touchdown.
Benerska having to try the extra point from the 16-yard line. And hits it home. Timeout, Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado. 11 minutes, 15 seconds remaining in the first half. The Chargers, 10. The Broncos, 3.
In an independent test,
over 1,000 different people were asked.
Which TV set had the best overall color picture?
More people chose the 19-inch Sylvania Super Set
Than either RCA or Zenith.
This is the 4th year in a row
that Sylvania was chosen by the people
as having the best color picture.
Sylvania may not be the biggest, but a lot of people think Sylvania's got the
best
color
picture.
Yankee ingenuity is still alive and well. You'll see it October 2nd on K-Day when Chrysler's K-Cars show up to take on the imports. K-Cars are the only front-wheel drive cars with high mileage and room for 6 Americans. If everybody in the U.S. drove a K-Car, we wouldn't have to import a single drop of OPEC oil for gasoline. Chrysler's K-Cars are coming to challenge the imports. K-Cars, the American way to beat the pump.
Start your day with NFL 80, followed by a twin bill football thriller. First, see Dan Pastorini and the Bombs Away Raiders battle the surprising Bills. Then see exciting regional action featuring the Seahawks-Redskins Rumble next Sunday.
San Diego takes the lead 10-3, capitalizing on the fumble recovery by Fred Dean. Benerska kicks it off. Mike Harden, the rookie. He's going to take it out. 10. Whoa, is he dumped at the 15-yard line by Hank Bauer. He's the special teams expert, number 37, Bauer from Cal Lutheran. And did he drive his body into the ball carrier? Well, tonight, my friends, at 7 o'clock Eastern, 6 Central and Mountain. Don't miss the season premiere of Chips. Punch ends up over his head to save a woman from a watery grave. Sounds interesting. 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 Central and Mountain. It's James Michener's Centennial. Robert Conrad and Richard Chamberlain star. Biggest movie ever made. Speaking of Richard Chamberlain, was he outstanding in Shogun this past week on NBC? What a program. Second most watched program other than Roots in television history. Jensen, short yardage on that pass play to the 16-yard line. Ray Preston made the tackle for San Diego. Jensen has been busy updating an NFL score. Buffalo 35, New Orleans 19. The Bills are for real. That's at New Orleans.
Chuck Knox done an exceptional job of bringing the crowds back to that Buffalo Stadium.
It indeed is football rich. Oops! Robinson hunting for someone to take the ball, but no one wanted it. And was lucky that he didn't hand it right off to San Diego.
And we have a penalty flag down on the field. Again, one of the things that's going to happen until Matt Robinson can go through all of his mechanical responsibilities as a quarterback without thinking, he's going to have that kind of problem.
Appears the penalty is against Denver as well. Although a loss in the play with a fumble.
Offense, number 62. Holding. Decline. Third down.
Tom Glassick, the left guard. Now, obviously, the center snapped that before everyone was ready. Glassick 62 on 79 Johnson, and you see him using his hands. Must have called him for the inside hand, which was locked up in number 79 Gary Johnson's vest. Here's the fumble. Timing problem there. Matt Robinson trying to get the ball to Otis Armstrong. Dropped on the ground. They're lucky that the San Diego Chargers didn't pick it up.
From the 19 then, or 14-yard line, it's 3rd and 11. And Jensen gets only a yard. Oh, the fans. That's uncharacteristic of Denver fans booing the Broncos on that play. 10-3 San Diego. Chargers will get the ball on the punt. Luke Prestridge kicking for the 2nd time. Wonder if the Chargers would have run on that 3rd and 11.
I don't believe they would have.
10 men on the line of scrimmage for San Diego. Pete Shaw's back at his own 39 to return. Prestridge. Oh, what a kick. Beauty. Shaw to his 33. And hit down hard at the 36-yard line. 51-yard punt by Luke Prestridge. It's San Diego's ball with the lead. Timeout, 9.5 minutes remaining in the first half. San Diego leads here in Denver by 7.
There is one beer, only one, with gusto. Expertly brewed and carefully aged to produce a consistently smooth and mellow flavor, glass after glass. It is a beer where every drop is thoroughly, quietly chilled lagered for a bold, exciting taste that says, this is Schlitz, and this is gusto. Go for it.
While the prices of a lot of economy cars have been going up, Fiat has just brought down the cost of owning one, with a rebate of up to $400 cash on 3 of the best gas mileage European imports. $400 on the Fiat Brava, $300 on the Fiat X19, $300 on the Fiat Strada, with the best gas mileage of any compact in America. Make your best deal on a new Fiat, and Fiat will send you up to $400 cash. Don't miss out. Next Saturday on the Game of the Week, see Dave Collins and the hard-charging Reds battle the Houston Astros for bragging rights to the West. Or see Gary Carter lead the Expos against the high-flying Phillies in an Eastern Division dogfight. Check local listings for the game in your area.
Denver Broncos sidelines, Natalie attired indeed are the Bronco coaches. Deep blue shirts, and they call those trousers peach in color. I told Red Miller, you get arrested back in Macomb, Illinois, you go home with that outfit. Capoletti for San Diego, a big hole up the middle, and the former Heisman winner from Penn State plows to the 46-yard line before Gradishar and company can make the tackle. Almost a 10-yard gain. On the sidelines, Lawrence of Los Angeles. He was called as the all-time Ram rusher, your former teammate, now a backup runner with the Denver Broncos.
And for many years, the starting backfield in Los Angeles, Capoletti, McCutcheon. Both here with different uniforms on today.
The irony of the game. 2nd and 1. Capoletti again carrying a tackler with him almost to the midfield stripe. Barney Chavis, 79 on the back of Capoletti. First down, San Diego. The Chargers leading 10-3 with 8:40 left first half.
One of the things that Joe Gibbs and the offensive coaches of the San Diego team would like to do is to establish a running game. They were able to do it against Seattle early. They have never been able to run effectively against Denver. Right here, they're starting to establish some running power against this Bronco team. They're going right straight at him up the middle.
Meanwhile, Fouts complimenting that running attack with his excellent passing statistics. 8 for 10. Looking long. Intercepted. Foley. 40. 50. Steve Foley at the 40. He's to the 35-yard line. Denver has 2 interceptions this year, and Foley has grabbed them both.
Dan Fouts was intercepted 5 times last week. Right there, obviously his receiver, number 18, Joyner, clearly covered very tightly by Foley, who just stepped in front of him and took the ball away from him. Foley, often the man who's attacked on the corner here in Denver because of Wright's abilities on the other side, certainly proved his mettle on that play.
And how many times has Red Miller's defense given the offense the ball and changed the momentum of the game? From the 35, Jensen gets almost 5 yards to the San Diego 30, and you could hear the pads popping all the way up into the press box. Claudie Miner, 71, leading the way from his right tackle position with a fine block.
And one of the things you always find in examining the defensive statistics of these Bronco teams, they traditionally give up quite a bit of yardage. But they find ways of making the big play, and critically so when you can turn the ball over in the other team's territory. Often the field position on a turnover is just as critical as the turnover itself.
Now Foley ran it back 35 yards to put Denver in business, trailing 10-3. The Broncos have it 2nd and 5. Louis Kelcher runs right into the ball carrier. Dave Preston had no chance. Preston weighs 195. Kelcher has about 100 pounds on him.
Big number 74. Watch him here. They start the action to the outside. Louis was not fooled at all. He just waited for Preston to come inside and just absorbed him, just wrapped him up and laid down on him.
From SMU, he wears a 52 long coat and a 16 AAA shoe. He has to go to a special warehouse to get his wardrobe. 3rd and 5. Robinson deflected, incomplete. 68, Leroy Jones. We saw him do that twice last week to Pastorini. Jones, 68, deflected the pass attempt, incomplete.
Fred Dean getting a lot of playing time on the other side. I asked him, did you stay in shape during all that time you were holding out? He said, well, I did some running, but you can't really get in shape for football. You got to come and play for that. Watch number 68 right here, up high in the air. One of the advantages, again, of that great height, but also the advantage of good training, teaching the defensive linemen to get those hands in the air.
47-yard field goal try by Steinfurt. And he remains perfect. Steinfurt is 6 for 6, and that is as short a kick as he's tried as a Bronco this year. So Denver converts the pass interception by Foley into 3 points. 7 minutes left in the half. Chargers lead 10-6.
Taste Sheridan. Taste Sheridan. Come to a Sheridan.
I love the taste of Sheridan's.
You're gonna love every inch of the place. We've got taste.
Sheridan, you've got taste.
We've got style.
For a taste of Sheridan worldwide, call 800-325-3535.
We've got taste.
Using this surgical fiber optic camera lens, Prestone Labs is going to show you what weak, neglected antifreeze can do to your radiator after only 9,000 miles. Look at these passages. Rust, corrosion. Continued neglect could clog them and overheat this radiator. Before this happens to you, put in Prestone 2. Prestone has a patented silicone silicate formula that forms a tough protective barrier to lock out rust and corrosion. Prestone 2 and Prestone Super Flush. No wonder we're #1.
Steinfort officially credited with a 48-yard field goal to kick to Bauer, and Duncan hammers it down the middle. Duncan on the run, fumbles. Bauer picks it up. 15, 20, 25, and Merlin, that's the play sometimes works into a long gainer.
Occasionally, with a mistiming of a handling of a punt, all of the defenders kind of concentrate in the middle of the field and you get away. The San Diego Chargers missing the services of number 42, Mike Fuller, who's their best playoff return man, and he is nursing a sore hamstring, not in the game today.
Injured that in the opening kickoff last week. Don't forget, next Sunday, NBC Sports, week 4 of this NFL season. Big doubleheader that starts with NFL 80. You'll see the Raiders in Buffalo, most of you. And then at 4 o'clock, Seattle and Washington Redskins. Other regional games all next Sunday here on NBC Sports. 10-6, San Diego leads. Fouts screens it to Winslow. And the big tight end carries it out close to the 34-yard line. About a 9-yard gain. Again, to emphasize Dan Fouts and how outstanding a season he had last year. He set an NFL record, 4 consecutive games, 300 yards or more. That 300-yard mark, Merlin, it's almost like, hitting 330 in baseball or having a game which you go 4 for 5. And he had one, Fouts, a big 387 yards last week, and he's on that track again today. Winslow, incomplete. A good defensive play by Tom Jackson, who is short at 5'11", but lightning quick and able to reach around. There's Bernard Jackson, who had the interception earlier, but it was Tom who made that last play.
They're not related to each other, except by virtue of their performance on the same defensive team. Fouts getting the ball on target. Jackson is the most emotional of these Bronco defenders. Watch him here. He arrives just in time to grab the arm just as the ball gets to Kellen Winslow. Had he not done that, that would have been a reception.
3rd and 1, San Diego in a run formation. 2 tight ends in, McCrary and Winslow. But Fouts going to throw. Oh, Jefferson. Incomplete at the 47 as he was one-on-one with Louis Wright. Pass was a little high, or that might have been a score for San Diego.
And we've seen something today you rarely see. They are attacking Louis Wright. Good call. Short yardage. San Diego is one of the teams that'll put it in the air. You see the kind of protection he got right here. Now, watch the solo right here. Jefferson on Louis Wright. Jefferson has room. The ball thrown high. That's one of the first bad passes that Fouts has thrown today, aside from that interception to Foley.
Rick Partridge, his first punt. End over end. Rick Upchurch, 27, 30, 35, and down at the 36. Upchurch, the all-time NFL punt return champion in yards gained and in touchdowns. 6 of them for scores. Upchurch from Minnesota.
Partridge upset here. Steve Watson, number 81. Watch him. He's going to hit the kicker here, but you'll notice he's blocked into the kicker. The official showing the signal. Blocked into the kicker, no penalty.
And a timeout with 6:12 left in the half. Denver has the lead, but trails by only 4.
For 1981, a new Ram Tough Dodge pickup. Built tougher than ever, with better gas mileage, more than twice as much galvanized steel in critical areas. More than Ford or Chevy. Backed by Chrysler Corporation's 3-year rust perforation warranty. And this year's highest EPA estimates with automatic transmission. More than Ford or Chevy. Dodge pickup. Newer and tougher.
Dodge trucks are Ram Tough.
Yes, honey, I'll have a good dinner. Gotta go.
Tough case, huh?
Tough ain't the word.
Perez is back from Kentucky Fried Chicken. I'm starving. Why Kentucky Fried Chicken?
It's a hard case. My men deserve a fresh, hot meal.
Great chicken.
Great price.
Anything else?
His wife will kill him if he doesn't eat right.
It's so nice, nice to feel. So good about a meal. So good about Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Gamble in New York, and Seattle's Kingdom. The Patriots have struck by long distance. Steve Grogan to Stanley Morgan. Nobody catches that man. The play covers 67 yards and brings the Patriots into a tie with Seattle at 10, that ball game in the second quarter. Let us go back to Mile High Stadium in Denver. Rejoin Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen.
Thank you, Brian Gumbel. 6:12 remaining in the first half here at Mile High Stadium. Denver with the ball, trailing San Diego 10-6. Ball at the 37-yard line. Matt Robinson has Upchurch left and Moses right. Preston and Jensen the running backs. Good fake for Preston. Intercepted. Woody Lowe at the 40. Lowe at the 30. Lowe at the 25, and to the 23 goes the former Alabama All-American as Robinson is intercepted, and the Chargers in great scoring position. A 27-yard return by Woody Lowe, who returned 2 of them for touchdowns last year.
Watch it right here. Riley Odom's the obvious target, but the ball just thrown behind him. Robinson under a very strong rush from the San Diego Chargers on that play. Looked like Dejournay, 73, the man who was on top of him. But that's 51 Lowe, who's making himself look like a halfback as he charges down the field on that one.
San Diego turned an interception, or check it, a fumble recovery into a touchdown. And now a chance with the interception. Fouts deep, open, Joyner, touchdown! What a play! Fingertip catch by Charlie Joyner. Fouts didn't waste any time. 5 seconds.
Very often a very effective call by a team when you get a turnover, especially down in another team's territory. Come right back. Go deep for the big one before they really get set up and on the field. They did it there. They beat the secondary of the Denver Broncos. Exceptional throw, good catch, and Fouts and Joyner and Jefferson are doing what they've done so well this year and last year, throwing the football and chewing up the defenses.
8 touchdowns now for Fouts. That one 23 yards. Benerska's point try is good. So in a matter of just 5 seconds, Woody Lowe's interception has turned into 7 points for the San Diego Chargers, who have not won here since 1968, but they lead now 16, now 17-6.
I'm quarterback Joe Theismann.
I'm photographer Scott Barrow.
I rely on my quickness, my arm, and my big buddies.
I rely on my Canon AE1. With a quick auto winder and a powerful telephoto lens, I can catch the throw and catch the catch.
It's my turn now. Going out for a pass.
All right.
With the AE1, it's easy to shoot like a pro. The incomparable Canon AE1. So advanced, it's simple. Canon, the photographic consultant to the National Football League.
What's going down besides beer?
Bull.
Bull? Man, I'll turn this place into a car wash.
The Schlitz Malt Liquor Bull. Got more taste than beer. More quality ingredients than premium beer.
Bull does have more taste than beer.
What is the fruit that's got more taste for you than your beer man?
Oh!
Don't say beer.
That's Brian Gumbel in New York. Under the dome in Houston, the Colts have pulled within 5 of the Oilers. Burton Jones looking over the middle, finding Joe Washington. Point after good. It is now 21-16, Houston in the 4th. Back to Mile High and Dick Enberg.
All right, Brian, 5 minutes and 55 seconds left in this first half. Benerska kicks it off. San Diego converting a couple of turnovers into 2 touchdowns. A long kick, and Harden elects to bring it out to the 20 on the touchback. Dan Fouts has thrown 14 passes in this game, and only 2 of them have hit the ground. 10 complete and 2 intercepted.
Well, good. So.
And, of course, you can understand why the Charger fans love their quarterback and that San Diego offense. I think there's no question about it around the league that fans do prefer the pass over the run. It just brings more excitement. Robinson has both wide receivers to the right and brings Moses in motion behind him. Handoff. Lawrence McCutcheon out to the 32-yard line. A gain of 12 for McCutcheon. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC Television Network. Lawrence McCutcheon who is the #3 active National Football League rusher. Broke Dick Bass's records as the all-time Los Angeles Ram runner.
Never had great speed, but always had the ability to find the open hole and get the yardage.
First down after a 12-yard gain. This is Dave Preston running into his own blocker, Claudie Minor. Preston, who played his college ball at Bowling Green, gets it out across the 35 where it'll be 2nd down and 6.
Fine run by Preston. I talked to McCutcheon about working in an alternating scheme. I said, does it bother you to be in and out of the game? He said, well, as far as I'm concerned, it probably has some advantages at this point in my career because I don't have to be draining so much energy off. I can go in and explode and do what I can do, and then I know I'm going to be out of there, going to have a chance to rest.
McCutcheon and now Otis Armstrong in the backfield with Moses lined up behind Robinson and going in motion. In trouble. And down he goes at the 29. Gary Big Hands Johnson has the 2nd sack for San Diego. They had 5 in their first 2 games.
We talked about the problem San Diego had last week against Oakland when they got very little pass pressure on the quarterback. They have had all kinds of pressure today. I don't think that's all Fred Dean because he hasn't been in there all the time, but perhaps this San Diego defense has generated a little more enthusiasm for the pass rush. They've certainly made it difficult for young man Robinson today.
3rd down 12 from the Denver 30. The backs are in the pattern. Robinson complete to Upchurch. All the way to the 45 of San Diego. Rick Upchurch, 25-yard gain.
Watch Matt Robinson hanging on to that ball until the last possible second. Now, he gets away with it here, but this is one of the reasons that he's had trouble today. He pays the price for it, too. Louis Kelcher, 74, coming in, 79, Gary Johnson, and it's Johnson who buries him there, but the ball thrown right on target. Upchurch getting it and quickly getting upfield. They're inside of the 50, down to the 45-yard line, Dick.
And Upchurch with his first catch of the day. He has as much speed as anyone on that offense. First down. Coming in cleanly was Big Hands Johnson again. I don't think he was touched as he came through quickly and pounced on Robinson. 3 sacks now for San Diego.
Well, we talked about the strength of this offensive line for the Denver Broncos. They have not been exhibiting it here in the 2nd quarter. Robinson just back to where he can set up, and already Gary Johnson is blown right by 62 Tom Glassick, and it has the quarterback on the ground. Well, that's not even a rush. That's a sprint to the quarterback.
Ball back at the 47 of Denver. A loss of 8 on the play. 2nd down. 18. Preston in motion. The other wide receivers to the left. It's a screen. Knocked down by one of the upmen. It appeared to be Louis Kelcher. As that time, Fred Dean was in quickly on Robinson.
Fred Dean, number 71, the man who hit Robinson and really forced the bad throw. Just as he hit him, he had to throw the ball. Watch it for yourself here. Again, this is a screen pass. You let those defenders go, but number 71, Dean, so quick, he gets there. The ball had to be pulled down and almost intercepted there by 74, Louis Kelcher. Boy, it's been a lineman's dream. They've been banging that ball around. Nobody's got it yet.
Did you see Gary Johnson after his 2 sacks? He was out there in that screen and appeared to have a hand on it. 3rd down, 18. Bright sunshine, Denver's Mile High Stadium. Open is Preston. It's intercepted. Glenn Edwards at the 40, the 50, 45, 35, 30. Edwards might go all the way now. At the 15, the 10, the 5. Touchdown, Glenn Edwards. A flag is down. A flag down back at the 37. But it's against Denver, and Edwards has a 67-yard touchdown.
We talked about Matt Robinson's experience factor. He hasn't had that many starting assignments. He hasn't had that much of a chance to mature. Later on, he may decide that that's not the kind of pass he'd like to throw, especially when he has to watch number 27, Glenn Edwards, working his way beautifully up the field, using his blockers picking the open field, getting to the outside. 81, Steve Watson is the man who finally catches up with him, but he won't get a hold of him until just before he crosses the goal line. You'll see it here if we have time to show it. Right here, watch Watson, 81, ran all the way down, just got a hand on him, but Edwards is in for the touchdown.
Officially 68 yards for the score. Venerska's try for point. Is good. So Glenn Edwards, his third interception of this young season. That's the third time in his career he's carried one back for a touchdown. 35 thefts, 3 touchdowns. Glenn Edwards. And it's been a big second quarter for those few San Diego fans here in Denver as they piled up 3 touchdowns, all based on turnovers.
And I think that's probably the only way you can really quiet these fans in Denver down is with that kind of big plays from the visiting team. San Diego Chargers doing a great job of making the big plays here in the first half. And certainly one of the things that I'm sure Matt Robinson is doing right now is kicking himself for throwing that football. The receiver obviously well covered, but I think the reason he's had such a couple of terrible throws this first half, the kind of pressure he's had on him. San Diego Chargers really generating some tough pressure on the quarterback. The offensive line for the Denver Broncos not doing the kind of job they've been doing earlier in the season, and perhaps more importantly, the San Diego Charger defensive line and linebackers really accelerating off that ball, and we'd have to say that one of the big reasons, Fred Dean back in the lineup, giving him some assistance, and I think maybe getting some pressure going from some of those other offensive linemen who are so happy to see him back.
I see Edwards going to that oxygen mask. As Merlin indicated earlier, some folks feel it's all psychological, but going from sea level San Diego to mile-high country here in Denver, some of the guys run out of gas. Well, Edwards didn't until he crossed the goal line. And Venerska almost knocks it right out of the end zone. Harden takes the touchback. First down at the 20. Now Merlin with 2 minutes and 13 seconds remaining in this first half and trailing 24-6. Emotionally, it's important for Robinson to try to get his team at least 3 points out of this final drive.
Well, we've got to say one thing, too. Robinson does not call his own plays. They're sent in from the sideline. He doesn't have as much control. We'll see what the coaching strategy is. We'll see whether they're willing to give him a chance to go for it or whether they're going to go in with that score at halftime.
Robinson is 6 for 10 with 2 intercepted today. And the whistle before the snap.
A lot of movement on the line of scrimmage. We'll see who they call for it. Hard to tell often when you have a number of people moving. Bob Horn says it was indeed one of the offensive linemen for the Denver Broncos, and they march up to 5.
Dave Studdard, number 70, comes out.
Number 65, false start, first down.
Now Glenn Hyde, guilty of the movement. 65, watch him there to the right.
Yes, up quick. Again, we talked about anticipating that snap count. You saw it down on the goal line. You see it there. Hyde, who is not a regular, a reserve, wanting to get a little bit of a jump on that passing situation.
Told you Kelvin Clark, 73, has replaced Studdard. A tackle, bubble, and it goes right to Clark, and they're going to call that a pass, apparently. No one's calling
quick whistle. Dick, that's, again, the enforcement of the new rule in the referee's judgment. He was clearly in control, although that's an awfully quick whistle. Desjardins, number 73. He and Dean are alternating over there and getting tremendous pressure from the right side, working on Dave Studdard, number 70, who has been a consistent performer for these Broncos.
We welcome you fans who've been watching the Patriots and the Seahawks from Seattle. Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen at Mile High Stadium. The San Diego Chargers, with 3 turnovers, have turned all 3 of those into touchdowns and have taken a 24-6 lead over the favored hometown Broncos. We're at the 2-minute warning. We'll be right back with Denver deep in its own end.
Debbie! Debbie, where are you?
Thank heavens they got here in time. I'm Bill Thompson of the Denver Broncos. And what you just seen dramatized happens to thousands of young children every year, accidental poisoning. But there's a new United Way agency here in Denver that's doing something about it. It's the Rocky Mountain Poison Control Center. It's an agency supported by United Way dollars. On these hotlines, they respond to more than 40,000 calls a year, calls about suspected poisoning. They get all the information they can, prescribe antidotes, and call ambulances if they're needed. United Way volunteers also teach courses and neighborhood schools to make parents and children aware of the dangers of poisons found in the home. Thanks to you, it works for all of us, the United Way.
Preceding announcement was furnished by the National Football League for those of you who had gone away for that last announcement, and we were pleased earlier this week to speak to the United Way folks in Las Vegas who are doing a great job raising money. We understand we have technical problems in that game in Seattle, and that's why you fans have been switched to this contest. We're working feverishly, of course, to make corrections, and as soon as technical difficulties have been cleared, you'll be back watching the game, you Patriot fans in New England, as well as you Seattle fans up in the Northwest. Here, it's Matt Robinson in a hole. He's at his own 5-yard line, second down and 25. And he trails 24-6. Dave Preston breaking a tackle of the 10, the 20. Fine run at 20 yards by Preston. Finally knocked down by Willie Buchanan. Short of the first down, it'll be 3rd and 5. The clock is running at 1:45 first half.
The entire San Diego defense expecting the pass, taken by surprise on that. We've noticed that Paul Howard, number 60, taken into the dressing room. Glenn Hyde in his place. We hope he's not hurt seriously.
Ball at the 30. Complete, and I believe complete for a first down to Preston. Hit by Woody Lowe, and Preston injured on the play. Time has been called. 1:28 left. And that timeout will be charged to Denver. The score here in Denver is 24-6. San Diego leading the Denver Broncos. The Chargers, who have lost 11 in a row playing in Denver, trying to turn that around. And for those of you, New England, Seattle, we switch you back to the Kingdome. And for the rest of you, it'll be Matt Robinson bringing back a play and a first down as Robinson able to rally out of a very tough hole at the 5-yard line. 2nd and 25. Good run by Preston, then the completed pass to Preston. But now they're working on the injured halfback of the Broncos. Preston still down at the 30-yard line. Let's see how that happened.
Let's go look at the collision that caused his problems. He caught the ball, did a good job of handling it. Gets rolled across the back. Woody Lowe right there. Looks like he's up and walking now happily, but apparently Woody bounced him pretty good on the back, and of course you get a shot in the ribs or in the kidneys, and that's kind of painful. Defensive backs, linebackers used to attacking those receivers to try and make them cough that football up. Preston did a fine job of hanging on.
First down. Remember, Denver had to spend 2 timeouts in the first quarter on mix-up, so they have none left. That was their last timeout. 1:28 left from the 30. Robinson, incomplete. Intended for Lawrence McCutcheon at the 40-yard line. He was well covered.
McCutcheon, a good receiver, Dick, and he's one that they've enjoyed throwing the ball to this year. Robinson trying to get those short passes going down the field, and again, one of the advantages of calling the plays for an inexperienced quarterback, the tendency often is to try and get it all in one shot. And of course, you can't do that. You got to work your way down the field. Minute 23. He's got time. He needs to work his way down the field. He needs something to get closer to that first down right here.
He's 7 for 17 today from his own 30 over the middle. McCutcheon bobbling it, and he can't hang on. Lawrence McCutcheon doing a juggling act downfield. Had he finally been able to latch onto that one, he had worked his way into the open.
Denver using the running backs to trot the plays onto the field. McCutcheon coming out, Jimmy Jensen going in. We'd indicated that Paul Howard, the right guard, had gone off the field. Have no indication yet what his problem is, but he is in the locker room. Glenn Hyde, number 65, in his place. And an offensive line that has had its problems all day long does not need to lose one of its best offensive starters.
Indeed. Robinson's been sacked 4 times, and he's in trouble again. Haven Moses, incomplete at the 48. Well covered by Mike Williams. In fact, Moses made an outstanding move to dart in front of Williams. I think Mike Williams thought he had an interception.
Moses making a mistake on that play, though, I would say, Dick, and not coming back toward his quarterback. And I think that's one of the responsibilities of the receiver when he sees his receiver scrambling to try and come back to him. If he forces the quarterback to throw it to a standing receiver, the defensive man has all the advantage. Watch it right there. He finally did come back, but only as the ball was thrown. Had he started back a little quicker, he might have made that reception.
Shaw back at the 23 of San Diego. Luke Prestridge to punt. San Diego's going to have time to get more if they want. No fair catch. 29, 30, and at the 32, well covered by the Denver Broncos. That stops the clock on change of possession with a minute and a second left, and San Diego still in possession of all 3 timeouts.
One of the disadvantages that Denver is playing with defensively today is the absence of Bob Swenson. Many feel they're most productive. In fact, all of the experts around this area felt that he was their best defensive player last year. He's got a broken arm. He's got a cast on it now. He'll be out another few weeks. They really do miss him on the field.
Replaced today by Rob Nairn, 58. First down from the 31. It was a 3-yard return after a 42-yard punt. Clarence Williams out to the 35-yard line, and San Diego will call timeout. 55 seconds left. Joe Rizzo made that last tackle, and it's Fouts going over to chat with Don Coryell and the coaching staff at the far sidelines. Reminder, NFL 80 at halftime. We have all the scores, many of the highlights of key games around the NFL in this third week. And Merlin, I know the other fellows on our NBC broadcasting core feel as we do. We've had 3 games, and the intensity of the games already makes you feel like we're late in the season.
Really exciting, and I think something too that's starting to emerge. Almost every game we see renewed emphasis on the passing game, and the passing is really kind of taking over. And a couple of good reasons for that, Dick. One, certainly the rule change allowing the offensive linemen to use their hands more effectively, giving a quarterback a little more time to throw the ball. But probably the biggest change, the 5-yard zone, allowing the defensive men only 1 check on those receivers, which means that in effect, you got to chase them out there. You give a quarterback time to throw the football, and gifted receivers, and we have a number of them on the field today, time to run around, and you're going to have some receptions. We're seeing it again today. How many yards in that first half? Just a sparkling job by Fouts and company. And
he's on that 300 mark again.
Yeah,
so
right on
160.
Right on target.
That Bronco Bill, of course, referring to Bill Thompson, who returned a fumble for a touchdown last week against Dallas and set a new NFL record by so doing. He has 4 touchdowns on fumble recoveries. Fouts to Williams on 2nd and 6, and he has a first down and more all the way to the 49 of San Diego, and the Chargers spent another timeout. 48 seconds left. Tonight on NBC, Chips premieres, and one of the top-rated shows on the NBC network. You'll want to see Ponch as he performs water rescue, and then Centennial. James Michener's great novel, Robert Conrad, Richard Chamberlain star, 8 Eastern, 7 Central and Mountain Time. Good way to start your Sunday evening enjoyment in this fall season. Chips and Centennial, and again, congratulations to the network. They spent obviously millions of dollars to bring you Shogun all last week, and we're pleased at the tremendous response throughout the country to a beautifully done series. Five portions spread out through this last week. I'm already looking forward to the replays.
Much of that Centennial story played very close to Denver, here on the mountains and on the prairie, and certainly some familiar names and territory will be a part of that show tonight. But this was the stopover, the last stopover before they entered the mountains. A lot of the fur trade, a lot of our Western history centered right here in this Denver area.
San Diego looking for some recent history of victory in Denver. Wide open is Jefferson, and he just backpedals out of bounds with a first down at the 33. And again, some of the Denver fans unhappy at what they're seeing.
After 2 very big running plays, San Diego mixing it up again. And look at that pass. Look how it dropped over those defenders right into the waiting arms of the receiver. Let's see how Jefferson got loose. Gets past Louis right here. Louis defending in the short zone is looking for help deep. Does not get it. He's got a safety back there somewhere that's supposed to come up and help, and he didn't arrive.
18 yards for Jefferson, his second catch today. There he is again. And a first down as he's finally touched down at the 15-yard line. And the last time out now used by San Diego.
They go back to Jefferson. Jefferson. Jefferson again, working against Louis Wright. You see number 57, Jackson. He's got his man. Louis took his eyes off. They're obviously in a zone. Jefferson cutting to the inside. Louis a little late playing the break of the ball, and John Jefferson has another big reception. Time ticking down, but they've still got time to put more on the board, and San Diego has really owned this first half.
Jefferson, who 2 years ago had his eyes scratched, so he wore the goggles. They're not for his vision, but protective devices, but he played so well with them on, they become his trademark. He started today's play as the leading receiver in the AFC with 15, but look at that statistic. Of the top 7 receivers in the entire American Conference, 4 of them wear a Charger uniform.
That speaks for itself about the emphasis and the success of this Charger passing game.
And there's a man, well, Bob Ortman in the San Diego Tribune had an interesting article this week, Merlin. He compared Jefferson with the Hall of Famer Lance Allworth. And after 31 games, both Allworth and Jefferson had caught 27 touchdowns, and Jefferson has caught 2 more passes than Allworth. Those are pretty good footsteps to follow.
I don't even think Bambi would mind that comparison.
In fact, he says he loved watching Jefferson. 30 seconds left. Oh, and Jefferson was open. Although 2 linebackers were about 5 yards in front of him, and so Fouts had to try to throw around them. Incomplete. Well, Fouts has used his receivers well again today. Jefferson's caught 3, Winslow's 3, Joyner 3. And all about the same yardage. Capoletti 3. 4 receivers, 3 catches each. You get a chance to play when Fouts is your quarterback. 29 seconds left. 24-6. The Chargers lead just before halftime and looking for more. No timeouts left. Fumble. Does Denver have it? No. The center must have fallen on that one. Don Masick. Let's see. Now the clock running, and they have to hurry.
Kicking team quickly onto the field. Let's see if they can get it off.
While you watch the replay, 10 seconds, 9 seconds, 8 seconds. They're in position. 7, 6, Benerska, 5, 4. On its way, and good. They did everything right in that second quarter. As the gun sounds, that second quarter belonged to the San Diego Chargers. It's a compliment to San Diego that they hear boos for the home team, Denver, as they leave the field. 33 yards for Benerska.
What a way to quiet a home crowd and to take away that home field advantage.
San Diego 27, Denver 6 at the half.
I'm Pete Conrad. I came to work here at McDonnell Douglas because I learned firsthand as a Navy pilot and astronaut about the kind of product this company builds. The DC-10 is a prime example. It's one of the most thoroughly tested airliners ever built. Today, more than 300 DC-10s are in service, linking 90 countries, flying 1 million miles a day. The DC-10, I wouldn't put my integrity on the line for anything less.
I've got this headache that just starts right back up.
Will you try extra-strength Tylenol? You know, you can't buy a more potent pain reliever without a prescription.
I'm going to have some proof.
Look at the difference in the amounts of medicine in the leading pain relievers.
The extra-strength Tylenol has more medicine. I would like to try it.
How's your headache?
It's gone. I feel wonderful. I wish I would have found out about extra-strength Tylenol a long time ago.
Extra-strength Tylenol, aspirin-free, and you can't buy a more potent pain reliever without a prescription.
Saturday on the Game of the Week, see Dave Collins and the hard-charging Reds battle the Houston Astros for bragging rights to the West. Or see Gary Carter lead the Expos against the high-flying Phillies in an Eastern Division dogfight. And next Sunday, start your day with NFL 80, followed by a twin-bill football thriller. First, see Dan Pastorini and the Bombs-Away Raiders battle the surprising Bills. Then see exciting regional action. Check local listings for the games in your area.
Impressive second quarter for San Diego. The Chargers, with 3 turnovers, and Dan Fouts throwing for over 200 yards, scored 24 points. At halftime here in Denver, San Diego leads the Broncos 27-6. Now let's switch to Brian Gumbel in New York.
I'd like to welcome you back to our NFL 80 studio. This is Sunday number 3 of the NFL season. The Steelers have been upset. The Bills, Lions, and 49ers continue to surprise. Billy Sims has missed his attempt at a record, but in the losing effort, Richard Todd has set a new one. We'll have scores and we'll have highlights of Sunday number 3 right after these messages from your local station.
On the season premiere of Chips, Ponch and John hit the road with all new adventures. It's terror on the streets as they go after a pair of ruthless crooks and a reckless kid in a go-kart. Then Ponch gets in over his head to save a woman trapped in a watery grave.
A deep breath and hold it, and I'll do the rest.
Chips at a special time, Sunday.
Well, now I need advice.
You mean your accountant is talking about tax-exempt bonds and you still don't have an Irving Trust personal banker?
With money from an aunt is quite a surprise. You mean you just inherited almost $250,000 and you still don't have a personal banker?
I cover the entire Northeast. Oh, you mean your job's that important and you still don't have a personal banker?
If you're doing rather well, why settle for just a bank when you can have your own personal banker at Irving Trust?
We set out to make Eastern's Transcon the best service to California. How are we doing?
I've been coast to coast more than once on other carriers. It'll match the best.
As the new boy on the block, they're doing a good job.
Everybody was friendly, which is very unique on airplanes nowadays.
The service was the best ever, and we've traveled all over the world.
I just think that Eastern's trying hard to please, and they're succeeding.
Eastern's Transcon to California. We have to earn our wings every day.
I think it's a great airline. I wasn't paid to say that either, by the way.
The demonstration that's shaking up the typewriter world.
Quix is electronic. It has a host of automatic...
We asked 100 executives and secretaries to see a demonstration of Quix, the intelligent typewriter.
Plays back from memory at 300 words a minute.
Quix can be upgraded. We won't have to buy typewriters every few years.
85 out of 100 said they'd want their next typewriter to be a Quix.
Automatic error.
Before you order your next typewriter, be sure to see a Quix demonstration. Quix, it's a tiger of a typewriter. From Exxon Information Systems.
The biggest motion picture ever made, Centennial, tonight at 8.
Welcome back. I'm Bryant Gumbel. It's Sunday number 3 of the NFL season, a season of surprises so far. Let's get to the scores and the highlights. Biggest surprise of this day was at Riverfront Stadium. The Cincinnati Bengals at 0-2 turned back the 2-0 Pittsburgh Steelers. The final there, 30-28. The Steelers asked for it. They turned the ball over 6 times, and the Bengals took advantage. Kenny Anderson was hurt in the second period. He did not see the second half. Instead, it was Jack Thompson who had to come on and absorb the rushes of the men of Pittsburgh. The Steelers had forged themselves a 14-13 lead at the half when Terry Bradshaw dropped back and found the familiar target, number 88, Lynn Swann, coasting across the middle. In all, the play covered 68 yards for Bradshaw as a touchdown pass number 3 of the day. Number 2 to Swann. It opened up a 21-13 lead. But there was no quit in the Bengals in the 4th period. This is Jack Thompson, and the man he's throwing to is Isaac Curtis. 14 yards, touchdown, closed the gap to 21-20. Pittsburgh came back, marched down the field. Greg Hawthorne got the call from 4 yards out, took it in. Pittsburgh had an 8-point lead, 28-20. But Thompson one more time to the air, this time to Don Bass, corner of the end zone, 28-27. They got the ball back. Ian Sutter with 2:25 left makes good from 21 yards out, and the Bengals have upset the Steelers final again, 30-28. The San Francisco 49ers are off to their best start since 1952. They turned back the New York Jets at Shea Stadium, 37-27. This despite a record-setting effort by Richard Todd. Todd piled up the numbers, but early on when it counted, well, these plays give you an idea of the kind of day he had. Overthrowing Wesley Walker there, overthrowing Wesley Walker again, and then absorbing a sack. When the game was out of reach, he managed to compile 42 of 59 for 447 yards. But long before that, it was the men of San Francisco who had it together. Look at this flea flicker, which winds up in the arms of Paul Hoffman. The 49ers opening it up to 3-0. Joe Montana even managed to get into the act. The former Notre Damer came in when the audio system of Steve DeBerg failed. DeBerg suffering from laryngitis and wearing special equipment so his teammates can hear it. It hardly mattered who was throwing for the 49ers. This touchdown pass was to Dwight Clark. And then just to make it even, this is DeBerg one more time, looking and finding Freddie Solomon. Touchdown, San Francisco. They opened it up to 24-3 at the half, and when it was 30-6, Todd started to put on the numbers. The final final again, 37-27. Miami and Atlanta. Don Shula has faced the Atlanta Falcons 10 times. He's yet to lose to them. The final today was 20-17. At the half, it was 7-3. Atlanta out in front, thanks to Steve Bartkowski. This was the lone scorer of that first half. He looks into the end zone, finds Alfred Jackson for the score. It was 7-3 when they broke for intermission. When they came back, Bartkowski used the considerable talents of rookie Junior Miller. This opened it up to 14-3. But then Bob Greasy came off the bench. They say he's in the twilight of his career. You couldn't prove it by Atlanta. A score there to Bruce Hardy, a score the other way to Ron Lee. Suddenly, it was 17-all. Tim Mazzetti tried to be the hero with a field goal, but instead Bob Baumhauer stuck up his big paw, got it on it, and Miami was alive. It gave Greasy time to work some more magic. He looked to his left and found Nat Moore. This one good for a 35-yard gain as time wound down, and it set up the winning field goal, a field goal by Uwe von Schaman. Miami moves to 2-1. Atlanta drops to 1-2. Playing for the first time this year in the Silverdome, the Lions make their record 3-0. They turn back the Cardinals by a score of 20-7. Billy Sims failed in his attempt to become the first NFL rookie ever to rush for over 100 yards in his first 3 games. But Gary Danielson very much on, one of the few NFL quarterbacks without an interception this year. He threw a touchdown pass to Horace King to open it up to 20-0 early on in the ball game. Jim Hart went over the 30,000-yard mark in career yardage today. He could not put enough points on the board to turn back the Lions. This one was good for 73 yards to Mel Gray. Gray has now caught a pass in 92 consecutive games. This is Danielson one more time handing off to Sims. The man can do it all for Detroit. 25 carries, 95 yards. But again, he failed in his attempt to set an NFL record. Kansas City against Cleveland. Chalk up win number 1 for the Browns. Chiefs are 0-3 after 3 tries. Marv Levy's troops still searching for victory number 1. Final there, 20-13, 2 touchdowns for Charlie White. Minnesota against Chicago. The Vikings, winners over the Bears, won big today at Soldier Field. Final there, 34-14. They held Walter Payton to 16 attempts is what he tried, just 39 yards for Payton. Baltimore against Houston. Houston a winner today, beating the Colts 21-16. You talk about men being held in check. Earl Campbell, 9 carries, just 11 yards. Somebody called Guinness. Buffalo against New Orleans. The Bills moved their record to 3-0. You don't think Chuck Knox is smiling on his way back from Dixieland? And how about Dick Nolan, long-suffering? The Saints now 0-3, still searching to go over the 500 level for the first time.
Third down, 11 for Fouts. Incomplete and intercepted. That's number 27, Maurice Harvey, the 5th defensive back, finally knocked out of bounds at the 35. Robinson on 2nd and 10. Intercepted by Edwards. And he had eyes on another 6 points. Finally run out of bounds by Jensen at the 28-yard line.
That's the one thing that the Denver Bronco offense couldn't afford to do, is turn it right back over. They needed to get down the field, get some points on the board. It's been a brutal game for them. They really have been down, back up, and down again. Edwards almost got outside it. Good play by Otis Armstrong to slow him up a little bit. 3 times here today.
Twice today. Benerska, 43-yarder. And he is hit again. Benerska with 3 today. His string was snapped at 16 last week when he missed a 52-yarder. Otherwise, he'd be right there challenging Yepremian's record of 20 in a row. Morton to throw. Touchdown, Haven Moses. Well, that gives Denver 7, their first touchdown of the game, and a timeout with 4:15 remaining in the third quarter. San Diego 30, Denver 13. Or New England against Seattle. Morton over the middle. Is it intercepted? I believe it is. I don't think it hit the ground. San Diego has another. San Diego in front 30-13. Morton, plenty of time. Intercepted. Back comes Jim Laslovic, the veteran linebacker from Penn State. Laslovic leaping high to spear that.
It was a touchdown, Dick. Morton had Riley Odoms. number 88, in the end zone by himself. He saw him. He fired that football right there. You saw him starting over. Up high in the air, Laslavig steals the football and a touchdown from the Denver Broncos.
Ken Henderson, our producer. Great shots there. Harry Coyle, our director. San Diego has it again.
I think he can get some here, get some confidence back.
He's in trouble. Coming in on the blind side was John Lee, number 69 of Parity. That is for certain. First and goal at the 8-yard line. Robinson with 23 seconds left. Lobs it in the end zone, and it's going to be still another interception, and it's as it should be. It's been a day of defense for San Diego. Hal Stringer to that punt return for a touchdown. Ed Luther for the exercise of taking the snap falling down, and the seconds will tick away. 9-8-7. San Diego starts 1980. The defending AFC Western champions with 3 straight wins, and the Broncos, considered to be their top challengers, find themselves down by 2 full games after a big Charger win. The drought has ended in Denver. As we said, Dan Fouts was in high school, Jefferson in junior high the last time San Diego won in Denver. Well, they pulled it off today. Final score, San Diego Chargers 30, the Denver Broncos 13.
This aspiring pom-pom mom could pass as a member of an airport ground crew directing incoming traffic. Such personnel was needed last Sunday when flying footballs formed holding patterns above NFL stadiums throughout the day. The Chargers, with Captain Dan Fouts at the controls, took off smoothly at Denver's Mile High Stadium. But Fouts soon found the skies less than friendly. Denver intercepted Fouts 3 times, but he's the kind of pilot who laughs at danger by throwing caution to the wind and scoring passes to receivers like Charlie Joyner, number 18. To counter Fouts, Matt Robinson tried to get the Broncos airborne, but thanks to defensive linemen such as John Lee, number 69, Robinson's plans remain stillborn. San Diego's 6 sacks made it a bumpy ride for the Broncos, who also found the airways congested by ball hawks like Glenn Edwards, number 27, who registered 2 of the Chargers' 6 interceptions. Edwards traveled 68 yards with one of them to ensure a 30-13 Chargers win. Propelled by high-octane pass offense and pass defense, the Chargers made it impossible for the Broncos to get off the ground.